Elio rocking the bus, and I knew we were gonna be going up.
Yeah, bro, Elio's rocking the mullet. I need to grow my fucking mullet out because it seems like that's the bull market way. Okay,
He's not cutting it.
we
Until,
are live.
What's the price? What's the price?
The last high that I checked was 64,000. 64,000.
That merits some gongage.
Pump it up. You got to pump it up. Pump it up.
Yeah, guys, we can't actually put the actual music on because of copyrights, but there you go. Welcome back to Degen Digest. We are right now pulling hair. We are breaking 64,000 Bitcoin. Obviously, we're at a pullback because, things get euphoric and people take profits. It's going to be a pretty cool show. Say hi. What do we have lined up for today? Tell us.
Well, we're having a little party today as the bull market seems to be pumping full gear. We got some talk of some world leaders, jumping in on the party as well. I want to hear about that. We're going to see some chicken scratch from Chomsky, which everybody likes. We also call that Turbo
Sorry.
TA.
It's not chicken scratch. It's caveman drawings, according to Firestorm. Caveman drawings. Yeah.
Okay, caveman drawings from Chomsky. We're gonna see what's the difference. People are busting But Woodge's ass for being all into the memes. You should just stay in Bitcoin. We're gonna analyze that a little bit. Are the degens the champions here, or are we just too risky? We're going to be looking at our portfolio, risk management stuff. We're going to be looking at some psychology of managing a bull market, I think that's about what we got. We're going to have some good calls for you, so stick around.
Yeah, man, this is going to be a nice, homely, wholesome episode with the three musketeers.
That's it, man, and we want to shout out our sponsor, of course, Virtue Poker. You saw them on last week, so let's give them some props. We're going to drop a little video for you right here.
This video is sponsored by Virtue Poker, which is your all-in-one destination for creating poker games, organizing tournaments, and connecting with friends. There's customizable features and the ability to form your own poker club. So it's the ultimate platform for enhancing your skills and playing with your community or outside it. Visit virtue.poker to get started instantly.
There it is.
And we're back. All right, Shamsi, hit us with some Turbo TA, man. Like, I want to know, like, we hit 64K highs. Like, what's going down? What are we looking at? Man. What's the move?
So before we get to that, there's Edward Snowden saying that there's a national government that will be revealed this year to have been buying Bitcoin, the modern replacement for monetary gold, without having disclosed the fact publicly. Could be Russia, could be a lot of other countries, but are they the country? Are they the party that has just pumped Bitcoin all the way up to $64,000? And BlackRock has said, fuck you, we want the Bitcoin, and dumped them down. We don't know. I'm just talking BS. We are back on Turbo TA on the charts. Let's see what's happening, guys. So Bitcoin is obviously over 60,000. Still a pretty sizable rejection from 64K. Let me just measure that for you, just so you know, for the sake of numbers. We had about a 7.5% correction. It's up again, right at this order block, just under the all-time high. Now, there's a couple of scenarios that we have to keep in mind. What's that?
Oh, we lost you for a second, I think. Maybe not. All right, we had a 7% correction, and...
We had a 7% correction right at this order block, and there's a couple of scenarios that Budwurja and I are looking at because we might be a bit scared, but that's a good thing because when you're scared, you need to buy. So it's either, this correction here was just a little scare.
That's a good thing.
Just pump right up from here, from 60K. You got to see some consolidation on the lower time frames. You go to the 4-hourly, just same old situation. In fact, in this situation, I would recommend more of a breakout trade on a lower time frame. If you see on the hourly, if you see a range forming, then you see a sweep of the range and you get back into the range, I would recommend, not financial advice, going for that breakout trade and just playing with the trend because the trend is your
friend.
There you go. All the OGs are waking up. Finally. So it's either that. You can play a breakout trade on Bitcoin, but for a pullback scenario, which is quite likely, I'm looking at the 52,500 area. But what you asked me earlier, why I'm looking at that, is mainly because, you guys remember this head and shoulders pattern that sent us down to the depths of 30K before? Well, this was previous resistance. It was kind of resistance here, and it broke out. So it would only make sense to me if I were to look at this and say, okay, guys, this is a 5-minute chart. How are you going to trade this? I would say the market looks like it's very overextended right now. I'm either going to breakout trade this, or I'm going to wait for price to come back down here, sweep all of these stop losses, because every single person that bought here in, how long was this? Let me just measure this for you. In this 2-week time frame is in profit right now. And one thing you know about the markets, you need liquidity. You need opposing liquidity to go to the opposite side. So if you want to go up, you got to go down first. Kind of works like that sometimes. So that's what I would be looking at. And then the same applies to your Solanas and your AVAXs, where I think the bulk of the gains are, because if Bitcoin really pulls back and holds itself for a second, then we have, still the meeting. So we have some good things on our hands. So, again, in Solana, we can either have a breakout play to 150 over here, or we could go back down to $70. Now, that doesn't sound nice to you, but, you got to prepare for everything in the bull market. If you can have 60% pumps in a day, you can also have 30% pullbacks in a day. So that's that from Turbo TA. I know, but Woodja has some cool, spicy coins to discuss. Or what do you guys have to say? What do we have on our cards after this?
I mean, what can you say? Like, I think you hit it, nail on the head right there. Like, either we're breaking out or we're going down. We're going up or we're going down, ladies and gentlemen. Place your bets now.
Hey.
Place your bets now.
This is why you watch us, man.
I think, we've been bullish. Like, let's just stay bullish, right? Like, there's no sense in fighting it. I think if it holds that 52K area, for me, it's closer to like 55, like in the shorter term, like pulling back to like 55K. I think kind of holding and flirting between 55K and 60K would be like chef's kiss, because altcoins would get a chance to catch up. A lot of people are dunking on the altcoin holders right now, but I'm here to say, man, I got to stand up for some of the degens. I got to dig in for the degens, because if you're holding specific altcoins, you're not doing too bad. So I was talking to Shamsi, I was talking to Zhai, I was talking to some people in the Discord, and I was getting told, "Oh, you're kind of crazy, man. You have so much risk on. Like, oh, what are you doing?" But if we look back and we look since, maybe let's just do February, right? Since February has started, we have seen a pretty solid price appreciation for most meme coins. So this is WIF. This has been one of the ones that's been absolutely killing it on Solana. Let's see, well, what are we up here right now? So let's say you bought the top in beginning of February. WIF is up 200% compared to Bitcoin 60%. I mean, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about here?
There is no second best.
If you kind of pull like some of the other like popular top performing meme coins together in here, we have Mog that did really well. When recently has just hit a new all-time high. Obviously WIF is doing well, but like at first I'll just leave these on. Let's do Bitcoin, and let's compare Bitcoin to just Doge and SHIB. Right, so obviously, if you're looking, and we're going to do over the past month, right, since February. If we do over the past year, you can see Bitcoin has been absolutely crushing them, up 142% over the past year. But for the degens over the past month, where should you have been at? Where have you should have got your nose wet at? We got Bitcoin at 43%, Doge up 43%, SHIB up 25%. So some of the majors, right, some of the major meme coin players from the older cycles have just been barely keeping pace, if not underperforming. But if I turn those off and you look solely at some of the newer, I say newer, but more popular ones currently, we got Mog. We just mogged you, son. Make sure you're watching out for Mog. Mog has been absolutely crushing it. You got Wen, you got WIF, we got Bonk. And when we look at these, right, we got Bitcoin up 44% with Bonk and Wen underperforming over the past month, but WIF up 106% and Mog up 139%. And if you add in Pepe, which obviously was a fan favorite from April 2023, it's up 173%. So, a lot of the memes are here and they're still doing fairly well. If not, at least keeping up with Bitcoin within a throwing distance. Bonk only down 30% compared to Bitcoin's 44%. So yeah, that's something I would be watching out for, man. I think that there is still a lot of gain and upside to be had in this left curve portfolio that I've been building out here. What do you guys think? You holding any memes? You got any degen plays going down?
Definitely got a few memes, and following along with you. The other thing to look at here is if people are still looking for some major gains, jump in the crypt, follow some other folks that are really staying close, or learn how to do it yourself to really, deal in these meme coins, because you're not going to make, whatever, some 100x off of Bitcoin. That's going to be a safe play. I mean, that's more like your store of value. Whereas if you're trying to really do some degen stuff, especially if this bull market keeps going, there's going to be multiple opportunities to make major gains if you know what you're doing. Of course, you're going to lose plenty. But that's why I think you've been doing a lot of it on the Solana and some of these other blockchains, where at least you don't have to spend all your money on gas just to take that degenerate chance, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm super bullish on the easy, convenient to use chains. Right now, that's not Ethereum. I mean, obviously, I think ETH is going to do well. It's just for me, like where I have my money is not like in that ecosystem, because I'm on chain and I'm trying things, right? Like if your portfolio isn't at a level to where you can just kind of sit back and maybe earn passively, or you're still trying to quote unquote make it, if you're playing around with low five figures, 8K to 16K, like if that's like the range you're at and you're trying to like really go for it and bring home, over six figures, I don't think you're going to be able to do it just sitting in Solana or just sitting in Bitcoin or just sitting in Ethereum. Like as great as I think all those things are, and as like much as I think you should hold some of them, like I don't think that's where you're going to be able to get it done. I think you're going to be able to get it done on chain with, the things that are recently coming out that no one really knows about. They're still obscure, that are still quote unquote vaporware, taking your chances, betting there and seeing if you can hit that home run. Right. So, for someone like me in my situation, that's where it makes a lot more sense to be allocating my funds. I have like my Bitcoin beta plays, right? Like Coinbase, CLSK, some things like that. But when it comes to like trying to hit the home runs, I'm holding Solana, but I need that deep ecosystem play, right? I need something to go from 3 million to 3 billion.
100%. So, 100%. Couldn't agree more, man. You got to play to your strengths, and having low capital is also a strength. A lot of people don't understand that, because that low capital, comes with low emotional attachment, because if you have $500,000 invested into the market, there's a lot more at risk than if you have 5,000. You could probably recoup that 5,000 one way or another, go do a job, go do something. But also with that 5,000, you can get into those ecosystems where if you invest 5,000 into it, you're not really going to move the needle that much in terms of the market cap. So you can still sneak your cash in there and catch those 20, 30, 40x gains, which is not possible on a market cap basis on an asset that's as large as Ethereum or Bitcoin. So having low capital is also a strength. Don't forget that, and play to your strengths. Like what Wood just said, the situation that I'm in also, I don't have $770,000 to invest in Bitcoin like Alex Becker does and more. So I'm going to, go for the ecosystem plays under AVAX, under Solana, the beams, the whatevers. And, to be honest, fucking put your money in Solana ecosystem coins. But Woodja told me that you guys can front run this particular token if you want, because there's a gasless smart wallet coming on. And sorry, I'm sharing your alpha, so you can step in anytime you want. So I thought, what, he's my boy. I listened to him. I did some research and I bought some CRE, some Creso tokens, and I didn't buy a big amount. I'll be honest. I'll be completely transparent. I bought $200 worth of, CRE. I thought, let me buy it. So it's a wallet. It's going to launch. It was fucking $55 in gas fees. $55 in gas fees on Ethereum. Can you believe it? On Solana, it would have been 0.0034 cents, and I wouldn't even feel it. And it would also happen in 3 seconds, because you see the $55 gas fees and you wait 6 seconds and you watch that money leave your account. That's the part that pisses me off about Ethereum. So play for these micro caps, man. Yeah, that's the way.
Shout out to CRE. I think that is definitely one. Do some research if you haven't. Definitely check that one out. I actually grabbed it because of that exact reason, Shamsi. I went and got it on MEXC. And so if you do have some centralized exchange, I don't like to hold anything on centralized exchanges, but if you have some access, you might be able to grab it over there if you are interested in it. It hasn't really moved too much, so definitely want to check out. Good call there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I tried to do something on ETH yesterday too with that Athena. There's some stuff where you can put some into the liquidity pools and be earning shards and all this. It sounded like some great alpha, and I tried to do it last night. Just put in like a couple $100, and it was like $70 in gas. I was like, I don't think it's worth it right now. But yeah, man, I've been loving following these calls. You know, I think last week you were talking about Arweave. Definitely jumped into that. That's been pumping. A few weeks back, you were talking about Nosana. That thing was that gave back plenty. I'm talking CRE now. You got any other things you're looking at?
Well, like, really, like instead of like saying like, okay, like what am I looking at specifically? Like, real quick, I mean, I feel like most people know this, but maybe for the degens that don't know, let me go ahead and share my screen. 1 second here.
Yeah, man. Degen Digest has been making a lot of good calls. We even called Myro for you last week, which is up 60%. But yeah, let's see what Mr. BWY has in store.
So like the ecosystem plays, right? Like I think that's where if you're too timid and you don't understand, like, you know, embracing the left curve mantra, right? If you don't want to sit on Twitter all day and like be in these group chats and be in these Telegram chats, like, trust me, I get it. It's not for the faint of heart. It can be super weird and super annoying. And your fiance may not be too happy with you, but you know that, hey, there's gains there. So for the degen that kind of wants the quick wrap up, jump on to DeFi Llama. There's a lot of tools right now too. Like we talked about Dith last time we were on Degen Digest, and I mean Dith has, I think, at 2x. It was at 7 million. It hit like 16 million. It pulled back a little bit. So that's another one. They actually have a working product out. You can go check it. It's really cool. It's like this prediction product. But anyway, if you need like quick time, right, jump on to DeFi Llama. Check out the different chains, like decide what ecosystem you want to look into. When I say ecosystem, I just mean the different chains, right? So whether that's Bitcoin, Solana, Polygon, whatever it may be. I'm really looking back into Base. I think Coinbase has been crushing earnings. I think with the new FASB update for reporting taking effect soon, that is going to cause them to get even more attention. I think there's Brian Armstrong put out a, not to be confused with Ben Bitboy, the fighting champ Armstrong. Yeah. He put out a NFT that you can mint on Base that was basically Coinbase's quarterly earnings. And like you can mint the NFT, you can mint a picture of their quarterly earnings, which is kind of like weird. But then in the comments, he said, hey, this is a soul-bound NFT. You might want to hold on for it for reasons you can imagine. So, you know, you might want to go over to Base and mint that. So when you go to chains and then you click into an ecosystem, right? So this is Base Chain. Coinbase is layer 2. There's currently $440 million locked in there. You can see the total value locked has been increasing since we had that first run up in late 2023, died off kind of into the end of the year. But this was a big friend tech pop and now starting to tick back up. So clearly there's some attention coming back here. Check out these different protocols. Look for the protocols that are listed on one chain because you're already looking at protocols on Base Chain. So if you see a protocol here that says one chain, that means it's only listed on Base. So those are Base specific. Go into those protocols, see what you can play around with, see what's going on there, get some transactions over there. You never know if there's going to be an airdrop. You never know if you're going to catch the next thing. And so this is an easy way just to go through. You can do this like, you know, in an hour or less. You can just jump on here, scroll all the way through. The ones that have value, right? The ones that only have like 100K, maybe stay away from. Once they get to like 1 million, it might be worth looking into, right? So I'll come here, right click, open this in a new page. This is going to tell me now the actual protocol, SynSwap. I'll have the website right here. We can go check it out. I have the Twitter right here. We can go check it out. I can see if people have been depositing right here, how much they've been depositing, when the unlocks are coming. And so these are like the high level checks that you should be able to do to like be like, okay, like what is this? Why are people talking about this? Or if no one's talking about it, even better, did I find something early? Right? So just wanted to kind of share that because it makes complete sense that if you're out there and you're not really sure what to do, you're kind of confused and you're trying to find the projects that are like between that, you know, 10 million to 100 million range that could still 10x, right? If you find a really solid project at $100 million market cap, it could easily 10x to $1 billion market cap. And that's on the low end. And so if you can get confidence in that, And like I said, if you have a smaller portfolio and you only have, let's say, $8,000, right, you might be able to take a $1,000 bet on something like that. It does a 10x. Okay, now you just, from that one bet, you doubled your whole portfolio. And so, like, for me, finding like opportunities like that make way more sense than like if I had, 300, let's say 150,000 to 300,000. Like, yeah, I'd probably hold a lot of Bitcoin, right? And I'd probably only take like 20 to 50 grand and maybe do stuff like this. But because that's not my situation, it's like I need to be in the trenches. I need to be digging through the dirt to find out what could possibly be the next thing. Even if it's vaporware, if it's going to get attention, if it's going to get traction, there's a high chance that the price goes up. Things get really silly as the bull market continues. And these are easy ways that like you can, it's not even alpha, just you paying more attention and looking into what could be available, right? So I'm gonna get off my soapbox. I appreciate you guys. I'm out of here.
The prophet of profit, the defender of the degens, dropping the goods. See, it's like you don't want to just give us the, the answers. You got to let us teach us how to find the answers, and that's what we want to do. That's what we want to help people get there. What else we got here on the docket? I think you had something else you wanted to discuss there, Shampsy, yeah?
Yeah, man. So, listening to all of this talk about, going into ecosystems and what's Bitcoin doing and the pullbacks and, buying to your strengths and stuff like that, I feel like all three of us have shared an experience, which is the fact that we have round-tripped profits and we have gone through a bull market and not fully capitalized the way that we wanted. And we want to correct that. It would be nice. I'll be honest. If you at home listening mess up your next bull run because I sold at the top to you, that's karma coming to pay me back. So in some way, I don't feel bad because it's player versus player. I'm just being honest. But if you take the effort to listen to us, then for your sake, I hope you're not exit liquidity. And for that, I have created somewhat of a guide. It's called the BMEC guide. And you guys can, feel free to jump in whenever you want. Let's just chat about it and let's just make this a fun thing. It's called the Bull Market Emotional Control Guide. And this is obviously not financial advice, but let's just play around with the idea of, you have, let's say, 50% of your portfolio invested and you're seeing everything going up. Then you get these dips happening because we're seeing a very, very tiny example of that in the market right now. And you're going to see a lot more of it. So we just want you to be emotionally prepared for it. So, what happens when there's a dip? This is what you're saying, right? This is what you're saying. You're saying to the market, that's too much dip. That's way too much dip. I can't handle that. I just bought Bitcoin at, 45K. We went up to 55K. I didn't take profits because I'm aiming for $300,000 for one Bitcoin. Now it's at 32,000. That's too much dip on my chip. That's what you're thinking, right? But the way for you to, get over that thinking is firstly, assess your situation, play to your strengths. So here we have a Bitcoin chart, right? Let's say we buy here. Let's say somehow we bought the bottom. Fucking, I don't know how, but we bought the COVID bottom, right?
You watched Degen Digest and you bought the bottom.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's one way to do it. Because there's some coins that we've called now that you're going to look back in a year's time and think, shit, that was at 0.7 cents? No ways. And these guys were just throwing around talking about that coin, but yeah, anyways. So let's say you buy 1K here and you say to yourself, and everybody has to have a ballpark number in their head. At least I feel like you should. Let's say you say to yourself that I'm starting with 1K. If I end this bull market with $50,000, then I'm going to just, I'm going to be a happy man. 50K is my number because I want to buy, some nice shoes and they cost me $50,000 and I'm going to put all my money in shoes. So let's say you get to this point over here and your portfolio is now worth 50K, but you're starting to get greedy. You're starting to see things go up again. Let me ask Zehai, actually. I want to get everybody involved. Zehai, if I were to take $250,000 in hard cash, right, and put it in front of you on a table and say to you, Zehai, you could take this 250K right now and just walk away. Now, bear in mind what you do with it after. Maybe you invest it into other things and lose it. That's on you. But you can take this 250K and have it to yourself, or you could leave it here. And there's a 5 to 7, maybe 3, maybe 20% chance that this 250K, which is guaranteed right now, can turn into 700,000. What are you doing based on your experience? Share your experience with us.
Well, if I'm looking at my experience, that exact same thing happened with the Neo Tokyo Mint, and I got this S1 for free, and all of a sudden it's worth 250,000, and I'm like, well, yeah, but it might be worth $1 million if I keep it. So I think that's what I actually did, and that's probably what I would continue to do.
That's what you're going to continue to do?
Well, no, I'm probably, I would like to say I'm not. If I'm supposed to say I'm not, I'll say I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take the money. I'm going to be very responsible with that money. And I'm going to buy my children what they need and not take all the money from their college fund and put it into degenerate investments.
And then make them do child labor for your show.
I would not say that. Right. Exactly.
Yeah, but in hindsight, that 250K would have been nice, right?
It would have been nice, and then I could have probably bought like 25 citizens or maybe like 200 citizens when it dipped, right?
Yeah, there you go. But
yeah,
Woodrow,
similar
I'm sure
situation. Like I'm picking up
Yeah.
what you're putting down, Champsy. Like you got to be able to take that action when it's there. I personally like round tripped low single digit thousands to hundreds of thousands last bull market, and it doesn't feel good. My life didn't change. Like it wasn't like, I'm eating tea and crumpets, like flying on private jets or anything. Like I wasn't doing that beforehand. I was living a pretty normal life, right? But like I could have improved some aspects of my life if I would have, actually taken action and taken part and like stuck to my plan. And by not doing that, it didn't like set me back, but it definitely gave me some of that emotional, like maybe anxiety or emotional fear or PTSD that you're speaking about here. So, I can see what you're putting down. I'm definitely picking it up, and I'm definitely taking profits this time around.
Hell yeah, man. And can you guys also agree that, when we're up here, maybe $500 has not enough value as it does when we're down here. When you're down here, you wish you didn't waste that $55 on the ETH gas fees. You wish, you just think to yourself, man, I was buying some stupid ENS domain names all the way down here. I was thinking, bro, I could have saved like $4,000 for not buying those idiot domain names and put all of that into say hi, catch this, Superverse. I would have been somewhere great. So you got to play to your strengths, and you got to have somewhat of a number in mind that, you might walk away. And, there's a strategy that Woodrow uses that I love. Let's say you take the money out that you think, okay, I've got my 50K, but I have a residual $5,000 left. So I'm going to take that 5,000, I'm going to put it aside, and I'm going to use maybe 1,000 of it and just fuck around. I'm going to play with shit coins because I need something to do. I need to fuel my adrenaline. So you use that money to do that. And on the topic of rotating money, if you were to buy that 1K here and exit your 50K here, right, and you think the bull market is over, it's not. A lesson on how money rotates from Bitcoin to altcoins is this. Bitcoin was nearing all-time high over here. This is where Solana was at $1.6 in January of 2021. If you held it up until here, November of 2021, you would have made 200x gains. And that is what rotational power is in a crypto cycle. Yes, you can make 50K in this run up, but you can also turn that 50K times 200x. Granted, you exit the absolute top, which no idiot does, into a good sum of money. So bear that in mind also. Couple of tools that you can use that, the OGs use, Fear and Greed. This is the Fear and Greed from today, by the way. It's at 82. So just bear in mind, we want to see somewhere here in the yellow area before we go up again. And, you guys remember some stupid shit was happening on Twitter when the bull market was really pumping. Can you guys hear me, by the way?
Yes, sir.
Good now.
All right, cool. So some stupid shit was happening. We had Justin Bieber buy a $1.29 million monkey. That happened. And when you see stuff like this happening, just know that this is peak sensationalism. And the reason why this guide is called the Emotional Control Guide is because you can't, where we're going, you don't need charts because we're in all-time high territory in a lot of these coins. When Solana is past that $300 threshold, is it going to stop at 400? Is it going to stop at 800? Is it going to stop at 1,600? We don't know. So You have to go off of emotions. What's your number that you can keep in mind? And there's a lot of other things that you can look at, things happening around you. On Twitter, you can see a lot of people posting their win logs. I'm sure you guys remember that. A lot of citizens and a lot of apes talking about how, I got these many ape coins and airdrops, and I got 650,000 in airdrops. I know a guy who lives about 10 minutes away from me. He got, I think, $250,000 in airdrops alone on ape coins, which is fucked. So people are going to be posting their win logs. Passive yields are going to become a big thing. You guys remember passive yields back in the day, 600% APRs on tiny little coins. You can invest $600, and by the end of the year, you do an Excel sheet calculation. Baby. Time Wonderland. There you go. I ate so much of my money, that shit coin. Time Wonderland. I looked at Time Wonderland. I was like, wait, really? If I stake my USDC for a year, I can turn $1,000 into $650 million? No ways. You know what I'm going to do? Maybe it's a scam if I hold it for a year. I'm just going to hold it for 3 months. And it's going to be $3 million, and I'll be happy with it. And 2 weeks later, gone. So there's going to be a lot of talk about passive yields. This is me talking, historically. You're going to see a lot of people DMing you. Send me 1 Bitcoin. I'll send you 5. Don't listen to them. Don't send them the Bitcoin. You're going to see Bitcoin in the news in a positive light for a lot of months. Now, Zehai, you remember, you're integral part of the Neo Tokyo news team. There was so much negative news on Bitcoin while we were at the bottom, and it stayed for a very long time, on Cointelegraph, on so many of these traditional news outlets also. So I think the flip side of that is going to happen, and that is where retail is going to buy, and hopefully OGs like us are going to sell. And then you're going to have that one family member who comes back and says, this crypto thing is so easy. I just made $3,000 by investing $5,000. You're going to have that one family member. So you have to look for these signs. There's some signs personally that you have to look at. There's going to be a lot of Twitter spaces popping up with people telling you that they're going to melt your faces with value. You're going to have, a lot of partnerships being announced, a lot of, medium tier projects coming up together. They're going to be doing a lot of giveaways. You're going to see, people grinding in Twitter, retweet this, tag 5 friends. You're going to see a lot of that. Bots are going to come back to Twitter like there's no tomorrow because now there's AI involved. You're going to feel like this feeling of euphoria is going to last forever, because that's what it felt like in the bear market. You guys know that we had no idea when things were gonna go up again. It was a dark alley. Zehai, you look like you're reminiscing about crying in the shower or something. Are you okay?
All right. All I'm saying is that one of the things I'm thinking about is another marker would be Degen Digest getting over 10,000 views. Then it's time to sell, baby.
Hell yeah, man! That 10K
Coinbase
sponsorship.
Coinbase app is number 1 in the marketplace.
Yeah,
big indicator.
Hey, didn't the app crash today?
No FUD. My bags need to go up. Thank you. So what else? Keep going. What else were we talking about?
Well, this feeling's gonna last forever. You're gonna think about selling your car and putting money into crypto, and you're gonna be looking at buying Rolexes, my friend. The moment you go on the Rolex website, fucking sell everything. Speaking from experience. So yeah, that's a little emotional guide that we have for the DJs.
I'm laughing so hard, Shamsi, because because my green screen just fell, and I'm doing renovations in my house, as you can see. But no, I'm laughing so hard because I literally was looking at Tesla Cybertrucks one night. Like, it was getting late, and I was just like, what are Cybertrucks going for? And like, I'm not buying a Cybertruck at all. I mean, now if I make it, there will be signs, but but I found it so funny because I was like, I'm not buying this. Like, what am I doing? So yeah, big bull market vibes.
I have one question here for you. I wanted to get your thoughts on this because, everybody thinks they can follow this, and it's like, well, there's the emotional side of it, and then there's the 4-year cycle, and you got the halvening, and you got, it's like, okay, you can just look at the past and the history, and you can pretty much figure out where we're at and where we're going, and, there's some ways to judge this. I've heard some chatter, and it seems to me that this may be broken, or not broken, but disrupted majorly by these ETFs and by a few other major news things going on where we're seeing this huge pump way in advance. People are thinking this is going to be months after the halvening, but we came really close to all-time highs today. And we're not even there yet. We're not even at 420. We're not even blazing the 420 Bitcoin halving joints yet. So what does this mean? Can we count on this, or is everything?
Yeah, so I think there might be something to that, right? Because every single year previously to the Bitcoin halving, we've seen some type of like pretty severe correction, and we haven't really had that inside of the year of the halving have that big correction. That's why I was kind of saying, like, I got shamed for even like mentioning the thought of this, but like I was saying that, oh, maybe there's a 40% pullback coming, right? That would like make a little bit of sense. Oh, the big pullback for the halving, just like in April of 2021 we had that big correction. Like, you know, Bitcoin ran up in January, like just like you showed earlier, Shamsi, Bitcoin ran up in January while alts lagged, and then for the rest of Q1, alts caught up and started really running. Then we had a 40% correction in April of 2021, which lasted throughout pretty much most of the summer, and then we saw all new all-time highs at the end of the year. And so, like, obviously, I don't think that exact thing is going to happen, but that's just kind of like the vibes that I've been getting from the market. I've been saying it for a few months now. Like, ever since we started really going crazy in December, I was like, it's kind of looking like that 2020 in the early 2021 vibe. So now with that being said, I haven't really adjusted my longer term bags, right? My option plays, my crypto that I'm holding spot for a long time. Like, I haven't really adjusted them because I still think that, you know, I don't know, right? Like, you guys know, I have no problem saying that I don't know what the hell is going to happen. And so because I don't know, like, I haven't really adjusted too much. I will say that, like, if that does happen, I think it'll be like the real opportunity. And I think it'll kind of come out of nowhere really fast, come down out of nowhere. Everyone's super bullish. And then, you know, who knows how long it takes to recover, but into new all-time highs. So we'll see. We'll see if you got the cojones to step up if it does happen.
See. Yeah, man. I have a very similar theory. I feel like you know, a flash crash is gonna pull up, and that's going to charge us up to all-time highs, and a lot of people are going to get shaken out. And, you know, I also feel like the magnitude of moves this cycle are going to be a lot higher than the last one. So let's say the last cycle we saw 30% pumps in a day. This cycle, I feel like it's going to be a lot higher because you don't have whales fighting against retail. You have big institutions now fighting against smaller institutions. So I just feel like that exchange of, you know, wins to losses, when one player wins and the other loses, is going to be so high that the volatility is just going to be, no pun intended, off the charts. So yeah, man, I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, right, we'll see. I'm definitely not calling for it, but I think it's something to at least be aware of. Sorry, go ahead, Zi.
Yeah, no, I'm just ready for wrapping. I think we should keep this one tight and concise here. You know, I'm looking forward to the show where we're actually pointing these things out, because, you know, that's going to be the big test. We're on here every week, you know, and when we're actually saying, hey, you know what, this looks like a time to take some profits. I
mean, I just said it, right? Like, you know, when Coinbase is number one in the App Store, take profits. Like, you know, you don't want to piss away like what you worked hard for. If you were here throughout the entirety of 2023, even if you were a little skeptical of buying, if you were still showing up and watching shows like this and logging into crypto Twitter and hopping on Discord and seeing what was up in Telegram, like, you deserve to be rewarded, right? So don't shoot your cut your nose to spite your face, or some old boomer saying. Like, you know, try to stick it out. Like, yeah, that 40% drawdown might happen, but you know what industry you're in. Like, you know how ferocious these bounce backs are. Like, you know, so if you're here, take the, you know, go for the gusto, especially if you're one of those smaller accounts like we talked about earlier. You know, if you're in a situation where you're really trying to go from low 5 figures to 6. So
yeah, you can't do it all in one move, right? I mean, because that's the thing we were talking about, the degen play. Sometimes we want to try and do it all in one move, but, you know, that's not going to happen. It's really more about knowing how to make the trades, how to pull out and jump back in, and a little bit of that. So unless you're just playing it on the other way,
market, man. Time in the market beats timing the market, right? So it's like, hey, if you 100%. Have something that you think it's a winner, like for me, like I think Coinbase is a winner. I think all the things around it are going to cause it to go up. I think they're going to win their court case. I think that it's the settlement platform for a bunch of these ETFs. I think more and more people are going to use it. I think the bullish. So like for me, it's like that's one I don't want to cut short, right? Like I want to get the maximum juice out of this squeeze. And if it pulls back 50%, like, I don't think it's not going to shake me out, right? I'm going down with the ship. If it's over and it doesn't bounce back and it stays, under like my buy-in of like $70, then, it is what it is. But like for me, I think my conviction in that is so high that I don't want to let it go early. I want the full thing. I want the whole steak. I want the mashed potatoes on the side. Give me the gravy, a little bit of bacon, no cheese, because I don't bang with that, and we're good to go. So, all right, fam, you got it. Like that's where I'm at with it. That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, man, lactose intolerant gang. Here we are. Yeah, guys, just remember, unrealized profits
We're going to be seeing
are
you
not
guys
profits.
next week. Special shout out to Virtue Poker and all of those who are checking us out weekly. We'll be back again next time. Market Monday, check us out there. We're going to have Aether Games on this week. That should be fun. Always a pleasure, guys.
Peace out, fam.
Seeing you, Degens. Hit it. See you at all-time highs.
Maybe it's next week.
Hey, it could be tomorrow.